Ah. All right. Let's do this. Hello everybody, DK here, and welcome finally to my review of Kingdom Rhinox, a figure that I've had for quite some time now that I am just finally getting the review of, because honestly, this review intimidated me, because this figure is such an oddity in this line. I'm just gonna tell you straight up, this figure is such an oddity in this line because there's so many issues with this figure, and he's just not really up to par with the War for Cybertron trilogy as a whole. But honestly, I think this figure's grown on me enough, and I think I'm ready to give a good review of him overall. So let's do it. This is Kingdom Rhinox. This is our Rhinox for this Beast Wars line, and he's overall a very mixed bag, and mixed more in the negative category. But let's get in here. So here is Kingdom Rhinox, and honestly, there's a lot of things about the design of this figure that I just am not a fan of whatsoever. For example, the torso piece. I don't usually give a shit about faux forming. I'm never all that hard on faux forming. It doesn't bother me very much. But this is faux forming that just doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever, because not only does this look worse than the Thrilling 30s figure, which didn't faux form, that one actually looked better and more cartoon accurate to Beast Wars and to Kingdom. So there's no accuracy going on with this torso, and it just looks weird. It's just the entire, like, this is not accurate to any Rhinox design I have ever seen. It just doesn't look all that good, and it's really just not, it's just not all that great. And his head sculpt as well. His head sculpt is not great either. It's really not. If you look at his head sculpt here, it's not like, it looks weird. It doesn't really look like Rhinox. It looks like they took way too many changes with the design, which is not something they usually do, like bringing in Black Arachnia here. Her head sculpt is pretty much dead on to Beast Wars likeness, which is wonderful. But then you get Rhinox here, and it looks like they just completely changed everything about his head sculpt, which is weird. Although, his head sculpt did look kind of like this in the Kingdom show, so I don't know. And that was so weird, because the Kingdom design was like the Thrilling 30s figure, but he had this head sculpt. It's so weird. Like, I don't know what the hell Hasbro's doing over there, but it's really weird that they did that, and I'm just not a fan of the head sculpt overall. Also, it took me a while to figure this out, but the green on this figure is also not good, and not, honestly, neither really is the gray. The colors in general are not good on this figure. He's not animation accurate whatsoever to Rhinox at all. Like, all of the color is just wrong. It might be the right color, but it's not the right shade, and it doesn't really look correct at all. And I think the Thrilling 30s figure overall looks a lot better. And if you have that figure, you might honestly be better off keeping that one over this one. But that figure is a little difficult to come by these days. So if you don't have that figure and you don't want to spend like the astronomical prices for it, I'm assuming it goes for now, this is probably your best option. But overall, he's just extremely weird. Now, he does have some nice paint apps. Obviously, the entire torso piece is a nice, lovely amount of paint. The crotch piece is a little bit of paint. You have some paint on the sides of the arms here, some little speckling right there. Nice texture work on the skin, just like Scorponok and all the other Beast Wars figures. Just a nice overall, the little rhino sculpt on the back of the head. It doesn't have that open head, that open jaw like you would expect it to have, like Rhinox usually had. But if you really want to, you can kind of fake it. You can kind of take the jaw and open it all the way, bring it all the way down, and then just stuff it back there, and then bring it back down. And that kind of fixes it up, but it also doesn't really, because it doesn't have like the, you know, the teeth and the tongue, or not the tongue doesn't go up there. The teeth, or like the top of the mouth, so it doesn't really look all that proper. Plus, this is just so weird because that doesn't fit at all, but still, it's just a weird figure. And now getting to the articulation and getting to more weird stuff. Once, real quick though, I will say the legs are also really weird. Like, they just don't look right at all. And, that's because of his absolutely absurd transformation, which we'll get to. But the articulation is also where a lot of issues with this figure come in, because while the articulation is overall solid, you got 90-degree bend at the elbow. Well, a little bit less than 90, but not too bad. You got ankle pivot and a nice double bend knee joint, which is pretty good overall. The arms, look at this. The arms are so bad because they're mounted like down here, and it just doesn't look right at all because you bend them this way and that just looks so effing weird. And then you bring them up this way and you have that, which once again just doesn't look right at all. It's very similar to Studio Series 86 Blur, but I think this is even worse because it's even more noticeable. There's this massive gap when you bring his arm up, and there's not really any way to fix that, and it's once again just not all that animation accurate. It just seems like this figure is such a mess overall. And I don't know. It just feels like they really didn't put a lot of thought into this one, honestly. He's just really weird. He's also extremely flat and kind of cheap feeling, honestly. Like, if you bring him to the back here, you have all this hollowness in the back. All that hollowness right there. And he's so flat. He's like a pancake without this piece, which is just on this little armature right here. If you took this off, this figure would be so friggin' flat overall. And he's weird. He doesn't feel like a War for Cybertron trilogy figure, which is just so weird and pretty disappointing overall. So there you go. Alrighty, accessories. You get 2 accessories with him, but once again, these are just falling flat in pretty much all departments. These are his little pinwheel guns that he had in the show, but these are pathetic. They are so pathetic. You have this tiny little armature right there, or structure right there, and then the wheel right here. But it's so tiny, and they don't look at all like how they did in the show. And you can plug them into his hands right here. They can't spin. They are Blastevec compatible, so that's nice. But they just look really bad because they're just so puny and tiny and pathetic, and they just don't look all that great. Because you bring him this way, and he's got there's no structural integrity to these guns whatsoever. They look like they would barely function, and they're just not all that great overall. So once again, just a mess of a figure. Now, you do have some nice storage for these in both modes, actually, but we'll just show the robot mode storage right now. You just get these ports right here in the back that you can plug these into, and I do appreciate this. This is a nice little place to store the pinwheel accessories right there, which is pretty cool. But overall, the figure is just really weird. He's kinda ugly, and he doesn't really do a lot of things right, in my opinion, in the looks department. He functions good enough, I guess, as a Rhinox, but I'm gonna be on the lookout for a Thrilling 30s figure to replace this guy, because he's just not all that great. He's just not all that animation accurate, and there's just a lot of things about this figure that I just don't really understand why they did. But yeah, there he is. There is Kingdom Rhinox. I'll give you guys some comparisons. Alright, for comparison, let's bring in the team. We got Cheetor, we got Rat Trap, we got Primal, and we got Dinobot, and we, of course, got Air Razor. So there you go. This is how Rhinox scales and looks with the rest of his Maximal buddies. And like I said, he does the job good enough. If you can't get the Thrilling 30s figure, I think he does the job good enough. He does, I mean, he is a Rhinox, so if you need a Rhinox for your Beast Wars display, there you go. You have an option. Not a very good one, but you have an option. And here he also is with Megs, because they're probably the biggest of the Beast Wars figures, so you can see how he scales with the biggest of the Beast Wars figures right there. Here he is with Earthrise Optimus Prime. Here he is with Siege Megatron and Kingdom Galvatron. Here he is with another big green bruiser, Cybertron Crumple Zone, and you know what? Here's also here's the Last Night Hound, just cause, I don't know, I just get vibes, so there you go. Why not? The scale is something I actually think they did get right with this figure. He does seem about the right size for Rhinox compared to how he looked in the cartoon, so there is at least that going on. But with that was like one positive I'm going to give this guy, because now we're going into the transformation, and I'm just going to tell you, this transformation sucks! It's really bad! This is one of the worst transformations of the War for Cybertron trilogy, easily. And yeah, I'm not looking forward to doing it again, because it's just not fun at all. It's really, really not, but here we go. Alrighty, here we go. So we're going to take his hands and we're going to flip them into these little pieces right here and bring that back down. So on the other side, bring that up, fold that in, bring that up, and then you're going to orient them this way, just like this on either side. We're going to bring them this way, like that. We're going to go ahead, we want to take the little pinwheel pieces off, and we're going to take these little leg pieces here, make sure that they are front forward. Take the rhino head here, bring this up, and you're going to get this jaw out. You just want to bring that out all the way, just get it past his head sculpt, which you won't have to do if you just leave it like that. Rotate his head sculpt around just like that, and then we're going to take the arms, bring them back in. You can bring these pieces down. Actually, you can take the torso here, bring this out, fold these pieces in, which I actually do like that transformation. That's the one bit of this transformation I like. And then you can take these, fold them to the back, and they will just tab in right back there. They just kind of fold in right there, kind of tuck away, which is actually kind of cool. And then you bring those pieces out, and you just want to have them splayed out like this. Then you can take the rhino head and bring it down over the robot head and get his little jaw piece out just like that. And that is all the fun bits over with this transformation. Now we have to do the legs, which are just the worst thing ever. So we're going to open up these little panels right here. We're going to bring this down on this second hinge, not the pin hinge. We want this hinge right here. We're going to take the leg piece here. This is going to bring it out just like this. We're going to take the foot, angle it in, bring it in, and we're just going to get this tab. You can see you have a slot right there and a tab right there. And you just want to get those tabbed in, and I found it easy to just do that right there. And now we're going to take this little piece here, fold this out, and this will become his tail piece right here. And you're just going to fold this out just like that and get that around, and it will tab in place just like that. And then you're going to take the leg here. This is going to fold out, rotate it around, and bring it down just like that. And we're going to make sure that this piece stays out, and we're going to bring this in. and sneak it underneath this little piece right here, just like that. So you want to get that foot in, sneak it under there, and then you're going to tab this piece in like that, and then bring this little panel in and get that tabbed in place right there, and get that tabbed in place, and you will feel it lock in place just like that. And there we have one side all done, and we're going to take this leg piece here, bring this out, and you have to flex it around this little plastic here. That is the only way to do it, and get that piece in there, and there we go. We have one side all done. Now we do the same thing with the other side, but first we're going to take the pinwheels here, and we're going to connect them together, just like this, and then you can kind of just peg it in right there, just like that. Now you're going to take this piece, and we're going to double hinge this back, and we're going to do the same thing that we did on the other side. So bring this out, untab this, take this little leg piece, bring it out, rotate it around, and bring it down, take his butt here and unfold it just like that, take the foot, bring it up, bring it in, and get it tabbed in place right there, and bring this piece in, just like this, make sure that that panel stays back, bring this in, and sneak it underneath this little bit right here, which is just so not easy, and the pinwheels will constantly try and untab, and you just gotta get it snuck underneath this little piece right here, and there we go. And then you're gonna take this piece, fold this out, and get it around that plastic just like that. I told you this transformation is just not very good, and then you wanna get that all out like that, get all that tabbed in, and then you can get that wheel, you can see the pinwheel has another peg right there, and you just wanna get that piece right there, and that will also in turn plug his butt together just like that, and you wanna get all this set up just like that, and then you can close these panels up and finish off the back just like that. Bring the arms down just like that, although you have to make sure this piece is tabbed in, which I did not do, so just get that tabbed in, bring the arms down, and there you have Kingdom Rhinox in his Rhino mode. Yeah, the transformation is anemic, isn't it? That was a 4-minute transformation segment for me.
Yeah, that transformation just blows. Overall, it's just not good at all. The way those legs transform is just so not good. It's not smooth. It just feels like you have to flex plastic around plastic, and it's not good. There's way too much going on in that leg thing, and I really think it could have been better. But here's the Rhino mode, and the Rhino mode is solid overall. It's not too bad. It could have been better. It's basically a brick because like the only articulation is a little bit of back. You don't have any. You don't have any bend right here, so you can't have that. You can move the legs back like ever so slightly, but he's basically just a brick, honestly. There's not really any articulation. The head sculpt can barely move up, like very, very barely. And honestly, it just kind of tubs back down anyway. You do have some jaw articulation, so that's nice. So you can get some jaw movement right there, so that's nice as well. But there's not really anything else to go over here. For the most part, he's just a solid block of Rhino. So, yeah, there you go. It's not too bad, I guess. You do have some nice speckling detail right there on the side, so that's pretty cool. The horns are nice, and it's a little bit of a flexible plastic right there, so they won't break or stab you, so that's nice. The ears as well are also solid, molded in place, so yeah, I will say I do like the way that little jaw piece transforms. That's kind of cool. I don't like the way it looks in either mode, but it does transform fun, so I guess that's like one of the few positives I can say about this figure. But there you go, there you have Rhinox in his Rhino mode. The Rhino mode is solid, like I said, it's not too bad. The little storage option and the little storage place for his pinwheel guns was also very nice. You plug them together and you can plug them in down there. Pretty nice overall, but there you go, there you have Rhinox's Rhino mode. Alrighty, for comparison, look, I'm not going to transform every single one of the Kingdom Beast Wars Maximals. We're just going to bring in Cheetor here just so you can get a basic sense of how he scales with another Kingdom Beast Wars figure, because I don't want to transform every single one of them. Keep in mind, my Cheetor does have the upgrade kit, so he's a little bit longer right there, but yeah, there you go, that's how he scales. Not too bad, he's a big brick of a Rhino, so there you go, there's a little comparison right there. And for a standard comparison, here is Siege Sideswipe. And there you have it. So final thoughts on Kingdom Rhinox. This figure is an absolute anomaly to me. Like, I have no idea what the hell they were thinking with this figure. There's so many things about this figure that just are not good. The transformation is not good. It's just really bad, honestly. Overall, just everything clashes and there's no clearance for anything, and it's just not good at all, especially in the legs. It's just not good. It feels cheap overall, especially compared to most of the other WFC Trilogy figures. Like, Scorponok feels better than this dude. This guy feels flimsy and cheap, like all this hollowness. It's just light, and it just doesn't have that quality feel to it. The arms, like that, is just, all the articulation in the arms here is just so bizarre and an absolute anomaly to me. The articulation isn't even that good. The angle pivot's good, but other than that, and he just doesn't look all that good as Rhinox, honestly. Like, the torso piece is not accurate at all to the show. The head sculpt is not accurate at all to the show. Not even the colors are accurate to the show. Nothing about him really nails the Rhinox look. Everything is like in the ballpark, but not one thing about him actually nails the look. His accessories are weak, and there's just not a lot to love here. If you have the Thrilling 30s figure, there is no reason to get this figure. If you don't have the Thrilling 30s figure, maybe if you want a Rhinox, I would probably say this is probably your best option for a while at least, but honestly, you might be better off just tracking down a Thrilling 30s figure, honestly, because that one is so much more accurate to the show. He would fit so much better with all of the other Kingdom figures that are so accurate to the show, because Rhinox just doesn't work with them. This is just not an overall good figure. He's definitely the weakest figure of Kingdom so far, in my opinion. And honestly, he kind of like I think he was the first Kingdom figure Wave 3 figure I got, and he totally got me all ready to be disappointed with this line, because I watched so many reviews of people being like, this line isn't all that great with Trax and Scorponok, but I got Trax and Scorponok and ended up absolutely loving them. Galvatron's an absolute home run, and I liked Wingfinger a lot, so honestly, Wave 3 was an absolute win besides Rhinox. So, yeah. I am going to give Kingdom Rhinox, I can't believe I'm about to give this grade to a War for Cybertron trilogy figure, especially a Kingdom one, but I have to give him a C-. I just don't think this figure hit the marks in any way, basically. He's just not all that good, and yeah, it's pretty disappointing, but overall, he's a Rhinox, so if you need a Rhinox, here you go, this is an option. But with that being said, everybody, thank you all so much for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, maybe give me a like and subscribe for more Transformer content in the future, and leave your comments and feedback down below as well. Let me know what you think of Kingdom Rhinox. I'm very curious. But with that being said, this is DK Guillotine, signing out.